Welcome to Thunder Live on FanDuel Sports Network, presented by Toyota. Let's go places. What a battle we had here in downtown Oklahoma City. The Thunder squaring off against the Pelicans in game 3 of this 3-game homestand. Oklahoma City walking away with a 9-point victory thanks to some gritty, gutsy efforts and some big-time shot making and big-time defensive effort throughout all 48 minutes. The Thunder in this low-scoring contest walk away victorious and are now 3-0 over the New Orleans Pelicans. As we welcome you back inside of Paycom Center and into Thunder Live Postgame, I'm Paris Lawson alongside the Thunder's very own Royce Young. And Royce, what a low-scoring battle this was. You and I were talking before the show about how just muddy this one felt, that neither team was really able to get it going, but the Thunder's defense, that was one of the headliners throughout all of it.
Yeah, and it set the tone early in this one. It was a bit of a rock fight in that first quarter. Paris used the perfect words, though. Gritty, gutsy. Obviously, the Thunder extremely shorthanded in this game and really had to dig deep in a number of different ways and really did it on the defensive end. Specifically, Chet Holmgren. What a dominant interior defensive performance. 5 blocks, but that doesn't tell the story. The Pelicans only had 44 points in the paint. Some of them came late in the game. Again, Paris, we talked about this is a team that averages almost 60, leading the NBA. Their whole offense is designed to score in the paint. And Chet Holmgren basically just removed that possibility from them. Just a monster game from Chet inside.
An absolute force around the rim. And also, Jay Will, not to be overlooked, 4 blocks for him in this matchup here tonight as well. All right, let's bring in our resident shot blocker, Michael Cage, alongside Chris Fisher, who are on the call for all of this action. Guys, what'd you take away from this one?
I don't know if Michael had a 5-block game over the course of your career like Chet Holmgren did here tonight. What do you think?
Yeah. Well, I did have it. I just have to look back to the 80s. But I really like those, Paris Lawson, I really like those dust-ups there at the end. It was just a lot of fiery moments.
So excited over here. We had to hold him back. Mike, this was a rugged game, to say the least. This was not a game that you're going to put there in the offensive Louvre by any means. But the Thunder found a way. They had some guys who were out at times that it was difficult to find offense, but the defense was great. As we said, they limited New Orleans and what the Pelicans' strengths were, and they made enough plays to come out with a victory.
Well, dog days of January, you're playing every other day. You got half a roster out there. You just try to win, baby. Just find a way to win. And that's what they did. They did the little things. They had some, really polarizing moments there. I thought Chet in that third quarter it was a swing quarter for the Thunder. They were up 10 at the through 3 quarters. And then they just kind of held on. It was just a grind game. You talk about legs getting heavy. Guys are playing extended minutes because you're on a short roster, but no problem. No excuses made. Isaiah Joe was terrific off the bench with those 5 made threes. Chet was magnificent on both ends, with the 5 blocks that Paris and Royce were just talking about. Shai was Shai, and the Thunder got to the free throw line. Even though they shot less free throws than the Pelicans, they made them when it count. They got 4 there toward the end. And yes, I love the I don't know how you would explain it, the excitement there at the end, just to say, okay, we're going to punch this one through, and they had to grind it out.
Yeah, Michael was having flashbacks of his days throwing elbows with Akeem and some of those battles in the Western Conference. He was ready. I promise you, he was ready to get out there.
Michael Cage reminded you of the 90s playing basketball in the NBA. Is that about right?
Absolutely, 100%.
All right, well, I'm glad Chris was there to hold you back. We needed to keep this under control here. Chris and Mike, thank you so much, as always. We appreciate it, and they bring up a lot of good points. It is January. It is the dog days of the NBA, and you're bound to have shooting nights on like this that we saw between the Thunder and the Pels, but the Thunder, they can always rely on their defense. So let's break down how this game unfolded, particularly on the defensive end. Let's roll the tape. Let's take it from the top in this first quarter. And one thing you won't see a ton in this first quarter, it's a lot of shot making, is because it got out to a really slow start. But for both teams, Royce.
Yeah, absolutely. This was a relief to see Aaron Wiggins knock down that corner 3. Great lefty cross-court pass from Shai. But you can see there, Paris, that's 5 points in the first 6 minutes of the game. It was definitely a slugfest early on. And, but I will say this, for as kind of disjointed as the Thunder were early in this one, to be able to hold the Pelicans just to 9 themselves, this could have been a situation where you find yourself down 12, 14 points because you're not getting stops on the other end as you're trying to sort through offensively. How about Ousmane Dieng? Another really good performance from Uz, and the raw statistics don't necessarily just show it, but really smooth move. Uz has always got good offensive skill, but I thought he was really good on the defensive end tonight too, Paris. Moved his feet well and really competed on the boards.
And that was a big bucket. bucket for Oklahoma City just to spark some offense. And how about this spark? Will, QB1 out to Ousmane Dieng out in transition.
Give him a call, Jim Nagy down there in North, and get him as the QB1 for the Sooners. Will ripping that one downfield. That was an awesome throw.
Amazing. Shades of Patrick Mahomes out there. Great court vision from Will. And then we start to see a little bit of the Thunder's offense start to find some energy. Isaiah Joe getting early shots here. That's going to be key. A little bit of foreshadowing for what we're going to see from him later in this ball game. Now, we enter into the second quarter. And now the offense, both teams start to get into a little bit of a rhythm here on both ends of the floor. And we're going to go ahead and flash forward to the third quarter here. And you'll notice the scoreboard. It's still a really close game.
Yeah, absolutely. Both teams played pretty well in that second quarter. Got some offense going. Both scored 30. And so it transitioned into the second half. And the Thunder obviously trying to build a little bit on that momentum and really just did a good job in this third quarter, Paris, of kind of executing some of the basics. This is the big stuff that has worked so well between Hart and Chet, Will and Chet, Will and Hart. And the Thunder really developed that muscle really well. And just as this second half goes on, you're going to see some shots go in from the Pelicans. You're going to see some moments that you got to weather. You mentioned it off the top. Don't just credit Chet for the rim protection. Will was really good on the inside as well.
A great presence for Oklahoma City. And how about this? Two-hand action. Will with the block, and then you get Chet with a great finish. The Thunder bench loves seeing that, finishing through contact.
Yeah, Chet with 14 boards in this one tonight. Played great on the inside. Chet just another really good, efficient game. 20 points scoring, but did it in efficient ways as he often does. Got to his spots, picked good times to shoot. Really just connected the offense all over the floor. Shai didn't really have it going overall in terms of the insane efficiency that we've seen from him, but he did it in the right moments and really did a great job of still blending it all together, spreading the floor. Ijo was huge in this from Paris, spacing the floor for the Thunder. How about this move from Shai in transition? Going left, somehow kisses that one off the glass. I don't know. That one kind of defied physics for me.
Absolute wizardry from Shai Gilgeous-Alexander on that one. And the Thunder would put together a really nice third quarter here. They really needed it. Put up 31 points. Hold the Pelicans to just 23. And this is a great offense we started to see from Oklahoma City. Everybody touching the ball. Chet Holmgren putting the exclamation point on it.
That is great blender offense from the Thunder. They got the advantage on the wing, and then they maintained that advantage to get a great rhythm look for Chet Holmgren. The Thunder didn't have a ton of that tonight, but when they got to it, it looked really good, and it really broke down New Orleans defense pretty well. And this is, again, Chet just driving it downhill, collapsing the gap defense right there, and kicking it out to Isaiah Joe. Again, mentioned a second ago, Isaiah Joe was massive tonight in giving the Thunder that scoring boost, but also just some desperate spacing that they need.
Yeah, some great stuff from the Thunder offense in that third quarter, which was necessary. Things are going to tighten up here in the fourth, but Lu Dort has this knack. We're knocking down big shots when the Thunder really needs it.
Great connection there from Ooze to Lou. I like the fans going Lou. It could have been Ooze, Ooze to Lou all at the same time. But that was a great transition bucket from the Thunder right there. And as this fourth quarter goes on, OKC built a little bit of a lead and then had to kind of weather a few storms. Sadiq Bey knocking down a three, and now Zion gets on the offensive boards and is able to score that was Chet blocking him, I think, actually. But the Thunder just did a great job in this half right here of really just kind of weathering through some of the Pelican storms, because they made a comeback and started knocking down some of those shots. Again, Ousmane Dieng on the offensive glass, creating a second chance opportunity, and SGA pays it off.
The fourth quarter, Royce, I feel like was all about multiple efforts. You saw the multiple efforts required defensively to get a stop. And then the multiple efforts on the offensive end. Chet Holmgren literally laying it all out there defensively.
Chet needed a breather after that one. Chet played some really hard minutes right there, and you could tell he was gassed just for how hard he was playing. He needed just a second to catch his breath, just kind of lay it all down there.
Just let him breathe for a second.
Trying to get it all back in there. But Chet was, again, just unbelievable. This was a tough break for him. It looked to me like Derek Queen's whole foot was out of bounds right there. And then Jeremiah Fears was able to bank in a corner three. And the Thunder, again, there's some bad breaks. This was right on the heels of what was not a backcourt violation.
Right.
That took 3 points off the board for the Thunder. But OKC did a great job, Paris, playing through it. Aaron Wiggins stepping into that rhythm shot. That was probably the biggest shot of the game right there. The Thunder really needed that one to go down. It was created on a second chance by Kenrich Williams in his hustle.
Yeah, you see Kenrich pointing to Wiggs saying that is a fabulous shot. And then this is out of that timeout. Lu Dort backs it up with another three-pointer of his own. And these are really big shots for Oklahoma City because they gave him a little bit of a double-digit lead so that when New Orleans was bound to make another comeback, bound to make another push, the Thunder already had a nice margin.
Absolutely. You're thinking what I'm thinking. Coach Mark talked about that the other night, Paris, about exactly that of, you kind of can sometimes fall victim to some of the randomness and bad luck in a game.
Yeah.
And you're not able to absorb it. Whereas if you play well through the other 44 minutes in the game, you can kind of weather some of those storms. And the Thunder, as you could see, they did really good things throughout it and they maintained a lead. So some of those bad breaks, the missed backcourt call that wiped 3 points off, the missed out of bounds and a banked in three, those could have felt backbreaking in a really, really tight game. But the Thunder had a little bit of margin there to play with. And so they were able to absorb some of that bad luck.
And a lot of that just comes down to the Thunder focusing on what they can control, right? Sometimes you can't control what the referee calls each night. You can't control whether or not the ball's going to bounce in your favor. But you saw the Thunder held the Pelicans to 34% shooting in this game, held them well below their season average in points in the paint. Those are all execution things that you can control defensively.
Great call. I mean, again, it was a defensive struggle for both ways, and the Thunder were able to find a little more consistent execution throughout the game, and they really just limited New Orleans. If you look at, Trey Murphy is one of the best shot makers in the NBA with his size and his ability to run off screens. 3 of 20 in this game tonight. And the Thunder just did a great job chasing him all over the floor. And it was a variety of guys. So you take away some of the things that they want to get to, and it can create that little better margin that you have in some of the other areas.
Yeah, the Thunder are able to generate a lot of great controllables in this game to give themselves enough distance to outlast the Pelicans in what was a gritty battle here inside of Paycom Center. Walking away with the win. Coming up on Thunder Live, we got to break down the performance of Chet Holmgren. Amazing double-double. Also, 5 blocks.